Why, hello, and welcome back to another faux podcast episode of The Queen's Tales. Hello there, I am the Queen, Peyton 3.0, the EDM vocal sorcerer. For those of you who are new, thank you and welcome. The reason why I call this a faux podcast is because it's not an actual real podcast. It started as a joke for how podcasts are kind of taking over literally like every social media platform. Instead of having their own space, like the podcast like Epidemic, Apocalypse, Pandemic. Really what this series, particular podcast or faux podcast is about is for me to tell my real life stories behind, away from like the brand that is Peyton 3.0, for me to tell my stories of real life behind the Peyton 3.0 entertainment brand that I'm so diligently trying to build on my own steam, on my own 9-to-5 money, you know? So, as I always introduce you guys to the real me, the brains behind the operation, please give it up for the man that makes this all possible, Peyton James Craj Jr. Why, thank you. You're welcome. So, Peyton, what do you have to bring us today? Well, how many of us like working at these 9-to-5 slave jobs on these plantations? Raise your hand in the comment section. I didn't think so. For those of you who are new and have not seen the rest of the podcast episodes, which you should, because they all tie into the complete story, the real story behind the mask or the brand, the product, how my life really is away from the camera. So, I live in Vegas, Las Vegas. You know, the one that everybody wants to come to for a good old time, even if they're not going to buy or anything or gamble. Yeah, that's Vegas. So I work on the actual strip, and I worked at a couple of hotels, Planet Hollywood, Cosmopolitan Las Vegas. This new hotel comes along, Fontaine Blue. So, you know, I get a job there as one of the fitness attendants, you know, fitness and wellness and all that stuff. Knocked out both interviews. They did at first they wouldn't want to pick me, and they did a double take and realized that I was that, you know, I was that. So they had to call again and said they made a mistake. You know, so I was picked up at the last moment. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I got to get out of this situation because this hotel that I'm in has been bought by MGM. You know, the MGM that makes the movies or whatever. Yeah, but they've been got into real estate a couple of decades ago. Mainly in Vegas. So they own a lot of the strip's properties down there. They're just buying them up, buying them up, buying them up. And the big rumor down there is once MGM buys a property, the business goes downhill. Well, that rumor was certainly true of the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas, because everything started going downhill. Service started to slip, and people were just calling in to complain most of the time. There was a big mass exodus from the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas, from executives to front desk managers, group managers. Everybody was migrating, and they were all migrating over to, most of them, the Fontainebleau. And this is how I started hearing, because of the rumors that were going around in Cosmopolitan Las Vegas, for the ones who haven't migrated over or were promised a job and a stipend or whatever if you were in the higher positions for the migration, that everybody was leaving like that front desk and going over to Fontainebleau. And I was like, what the heck is that? So I did my research, and I was like, oh, okay. I think I need to get out of here, because being here right now is not good for my mental health. Even though I have full time, I have to fight and claw and teeth for that full time. Because in America, they really don't want to give you full time. So they don't have to pay for benefits, medical, dental, none of that. So most customer service facing jobs are usually part-time on purpose and have you fighting for your life. Usually having you fighting to keep a roof over your head, food in your mouth, clothes on your back. When I tell you, I was somebody that ended up making $18 to $19 an hour. I didn't miss a day. I didn't miss a trick. I didn't miss barely a call at that call center at the hotel. And I was throwing in money in my account, getting money. I rent a room. I would never dare get a mortgage. I would never dare get an apartment, because I know the climate that we're in. I've been studying business. I've been studying financial literacy. I have monthly spreadsheets of my income, where it's going, what it's doing, what moves that I need or can make next. I'm a different animal now than I was when I was naive and ignorant and completely struggling. I literally pay $700 for 2 rooms in a house. Currently at the moment, flat rate. While I try to build this empire, this business, and get it off the ground. And this is the only way that I can do it in this country, in the current climate of things. Well, I get to this new hotel and this job where everybody from my old hotel was migrating to. And it is a hot mess. hard hats everywhere, construction. They have us learning in this environment when all this stuff should have been done, as I said on the last podcast, or the podcast before that. But then we get into our positions, and you have all types of things going on, from managers not being present for large chunks of time to supervisors that don't know the computer systems so they can teach the people. You got girls that haven't even worked a job before, people who have never actually been like working in the fitness industry, that they have a certain flow, but if people don't know what to expect and nobody's managing or training them, then things are going to go downhill. When younger folks feel like they can disrespect the older folks or whatever, all that started happening. And this woman, this manager, swear that she picked all the right people. Unfortunately, ma'am, you're delusional. Ma'am, you're delusional. They may have great attributes for potential, but that's it. If you don't train those up, if you have a girl that's has never had a job in her life before, somebody that's 18 years old, these people need guidance. Then you have us that are in our 30s. You have two people who are in their 50s, you know, and trouble's brewing in the younger ages, in the 20s and in the teens, for the younger girls. Basically bullying a 58-year-old, messing with her money, making her pick up huge weights in the gym that they cannot pick up. This lady's old. Slandering her name. I go back trying to tell a manager and a direct supervisor that things aren't correct, and there should be somebody here in the morning to make sure things are good. There are young girls here that are out of place, who lost their effing mind, things like that. And I was trying to tell them, listen, the operation's not running correctly or smoothly. And most of the time, you guys are not here to witness it. I will see the director pop in every day and look around and whatnot. But we usually don't really tell the people in that position what's going on. That's incorrect, because all they'll do is turn around on the direct manager, and she's going to have to deal with it anyway. So as I'm trying to tell Ashley, who's a little bit younger than me, you know, what's going on and how to be fixing. And then, of course, the other, for an adult who's 58, is basically trying to tell her how to do it, how she can, like, fix it and constructive criticism, because things are falling apart in that morning shift with these young girls. The night shift doesn't seem to have a problem, because they're all guys on the night shift for the most part. And these guys are in their older ages. They're in their 30s, one in their 50s, you know, so they know how they communicate smoothly and things are going well and all of that. But the girls are causing all kind of trouble in the morning. The girls are bringing the operation down. And even though that may be the case, I cannot blame the girls alone. I have to blame the management. because they need to be there actually managing, not micromanaging, just managing, making things are going right, making sure that the standards that she wants and the supervisor want are set. But those things haven't really been set. And so you got the young girls coming out their mouth and thinking they could do it every which way and talk to older adults like they're children. And so things are popping off and popping out. The 58-year-old lady got so angry one day that she went to the office and let the management have it. But somehow, as I'm trying to keep things afloat and trying to fill people in, and I'm teaching these girls how to do things, I pick up things easy, fast, everything is falling apart and I'm being slandered, blamed, when this is a brand new business and the manager's still trying to figure it out, but she got to manage the sauna and the fitness center. So yeah. So anyway, somehow my name gets brought up inappropriately by a miscommunication, or I wish you understood, because maybe she was emotional already before Erica came in there to unload on her all the things that she was feeling, because Erica has been around the block. She's been a supervisor, she's been a manager before, but she didn't want to do any of that. She just wanted to relax and be hourly, do her little training and find a way that she can get to her retirement comfortably. But as the goalpost from retirement keeps moving back, because I think now in the United States it's now 70 years old. These poor boomers are like at their wits' end, you know. And so they have to deal with all these problems at the broke level. When they shouldn't have to. But welcome to America. Somehow my name gets brought up. I get pulled into the office with her as I hear Erica unload, but the manager kept shifting her attention back to me. And she just was very like angry, whatever, and disrespectful, telling me why am I slandering her name, whatever. I'm like, none of that happened. All I'm doing is trying to fill our other people in, as I've always done, about what they need to know, because you're not always around to manage. So I'm just telling them like what the rotations is like, and I'll tell them that the girls were the ones saying this stuff. When it comes to them most likely lying on your name, you know, just want to inform you, because again, that's what they said. But the whole thing was leading to a mess. It was building up. And I just feel like I was caught in those crossfires. Like there was no way I was getting out. I'm being thrown under the bus. I'm being slandered for real. And none of us have an actual standard for the management or the supervisor, because the supervisor doesn't know what the standard really is. I don't know what kind of conversation you're having with him, because he's never been in a hotel. He's never worked in he doesn't, I'm not sure she's setting the standards for him, because a lot of the times she's at this spa, and he comes in, he's kind of solo doing. She didn't come in and have a little conversation, but it never seems like he really like supervises, you know? He's more like a trainer. That's what he does, train, of course, but they have him as a supervisor as well. But he's more buddy buddy with us than actually supervising and know what the standards should actually be. I always said a good manager or a supervisor has two great qualities. They could be really, really nice with you, buddy buddy, conversational, like a peer, but they also have that great leader quality. The question is, I don't see a leader in either of these two. And this morning crew is falling apart. One of the girls left because she's the 18-year-old. One day the 18-year-old left because she couldn't no longer take what the situation was. So she quit. But things didn't get any better after she left. If anything, things got worse. And so somehow, within all the drama, the direct manager comes in and she tells me, like it was Angela Bassett, basically get and follow me. I get taken now to the HR with her, and all of a sudden, I'm the bad guy. For trying to fix a situation. I'm the bad guy. And so I'm thinking like I'm about to be fired. I was ready. Didn't put up a fight. Didn't catch a fit. Nothing. And she suspends me because the direct manager that we report to, most likely went to tell her I slandered her name or whatever and whatnot. Maybe she was crying. I don't know, because she was hysterical in the office and everything was misconstrued and nobody's really doing their job correctly in those leadership roles, which means nobody's doing the job in the attendant level. Trainers fussing at attendants in the morning. Attendants fussing at the trainers. Passive aggressive behavior without actual communication. If it's not angry or shouting. Rats going behind the back and speaking on you when you don't even know what's going on. Things like that. So I was suspended. And they're talking about they'll call me next week. So I'm thinking to myself, why the heck am I suspended instead of fired? Oh, remember when I told you guys that I've been studying business and law and financial literacy for the past 6 to 7 years. Yeah, that part. So these employers these days don't know who they're actually dealing with. They don't know that I really know all this stuff. So most likely they didn't fire me because they knew that I would come after them with that unemployment, and they talked about all the conditions we all had to deal with when trying to get this hotel that wasn't ready to be opened. And how nobody was set up for success at all, including the poor manager. But do you think I was actually going to lie around and let the powers that be do what they wanted to me? No. I didn't flinch. I clocked out, gave them my badge, and walked out the door like they wanted me to. And I went home and I celebrated me, whatever. But I went immediately on a job search. These are entry level positions. They were a dime a dozen. It didn't take me long to get another job. Longest is usually a week. Longest. And it's not hard to find a job that pays what they pay or close to it. I already had money in the bank. See, they think they were hurting me by suspending me like that because it took away my money, my livelihood, as if I was one of these broke 9-to-5 workers with no education. That's who I was before the computer age. But by the time the YouTube got to where it was, one thing led to another. And I had the knowledge that I needed that was trying to be kept from somebody like me for centuries. By these white supremacists, by these, what's the word? By these light, W-light, W-ite supremacists that still rule the country. Still in those positions at the top level. You're not hurting me. You're actually the one hurting yourself. I can just move on easily and not care. These entry-level jobs that nobody actually wants, they're a dime a dozen. They have no idea who they're talking to, who they hired, who they're even messing with. They have no idea how powerful I am, even at the bottom level. And good, because that's exactly where I want them. Why, yes. Yes, Peyton, thank you so much for that. Whew. Let's give him another hand, folks. Wow. This country never ceases to amaze me. This country only serves to continually disappoint. Disappoint its own citizens. See, these people at the powerful level, the corporate level, the rich level, when they run these companies, they see the people at the bottom working these entry level positions, cleaning retail food, all that. They see us as cattle, slave labor, to be used, abused, and to do what they want with us. But the thing is that when the employee doesn't know the power that they have, then they got you, because they got your mind. But when you have an employee like me that knows their power, knows their worth, and you're not aware of that as an employer, you're in trouble. Not me, because I know how to shift, shake, and maneuver. It's you that is in trouble. I don't need a witness. I don't need a community to rally behind me. I don't need nobody. I've been shifting and shaking for years now, because that's how powerful I really am, even at the bottom level. And doing it better than most people who are at the bottom level with me, because of what I know and the actions that I've taken and the skin that I put in. If these people at these jobs could pay you absolutely no money at all, they would. They love to take away wage slavery and just make it slavery again. Because just to let you know, once again, slavery never actually went away, folks. No. Slavery never went away. They just transformed it. That's it. They took the chains off of us, took the shackles off of us physically, because they eventually were going to put those shackles and chains, even though you can't see them, on our minds. Trap us in a system we call capitalism. So if you don't have money, or somebody to give you money or support, your environment around you is very resource deficient, then if you don't work, you go to the streets. But now we're in an age where most people working is not even good enough to keep them off the streets, or people living in their cars while working. There are people who are actually homeless working at jobs, and you'll never know who they are. because they work so hard to make themselves look acceptable to the rest of society. And that's how dangerous it is now, more than ever, to live in the United States, or as I call it, the divided states of America. But see, somebody like me always wins in the end. Because I'm a warrior in these streets. Wow. Please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and share this episode with your friends, especially if they're at working class, which is at least 99% of us. This has been Peyton 3.0. For those of you who are not into electronic dance music, I want to thank you so much for being here today. Do not leave without hitting like at least. The goal for this video is 20 likes and 3 comments. It is a fight in these social media streets. And it's a fight in these corporate streets. Nothing is fair. Nothing is right. And it's never been. For those of you who are into electronic dance music, this is for you. But what I really want you to focus on is getting to the website, payton30.com. That's payton30.com. The reason why I want you to get to the website because I want you to get on the email list. I can't control what they do to my content on these platforms, whether you see it or not. I literally have no say in that. I don't play the algorithm game because I'm a real creative, a real musician. I don't trade trends. I set them. So get on the email list. That's the gift from me to you. Ravers, EDM, festival goers. You get 3 free unreleased EDM bangers. And you get to learn a lot more about me and my story. And of course, I'd love to hear from you. So write me back because I'd love to know your opinions on the songs you hear and a little more about you. Yes. We can make it a real community in the email list because we really can't be a community at all on these social medias because we don't have the power over what we do, unfortunately, on these platforms anymore. We're at a huge disadvantage as people, creators, users of these social media platforms, and that's the way it is, unfortunately. So get on the email list and get 3 free unreleased EDM bangers. Thank you so much. And I'll see you on the next episode of The Queen's Tales. Have a great day.